with BYU and Alabama. It is a 6-2 game in the East. Matt McCall, Alabama has been good all year. The offense has been rocking. BYU, new coach, same results, all is well. What do you make of this matchup at the Prudential Center?
Well, everyone wants to talk about, first of all, I mean, this is unbelievable. I mean, we're less than 24 hours away from the Sweet 16. So let's start there. And nothing else matters tomorrow other than these games. But let's start first with BYU and how they play on the offensive end of the floor. Like, the biggest key, no question about it, for Alabama tomorrow is how are they going to defend the three? And can they stay out of rotations? BYU does such a great job of playing out of concepts. And when they get two on the ball, if they're running a ball screen or whatever they're running, they get two on the ball, they take advantage of that. And then you're constantly in rotations and you're trying to play catch up. You want to talk about a team that's great at getting an advantage and keeping an advantage? That's BYU. So for Alabama, it's, hey, how are we staying out of rotations so we don't give up 3-point shots? Because if we give up a bunch of threes, then you're going to be playing catch up the entire game, and you don't want to get behind that offense. For BYU, it's rebounding. And I made this analogy today on Off Campus with Jacob Hester on Channel 84. It was like, at this point in the year, and Mike knows this, every coach has that bubble that they can put up on the rim, and where if you shoot a basketball, the ball is never going in. It's a rebounding drill. That's the whole key for BYU tomorrow. Can they rebound the basketball? So, the bubble had to have been up there. And those players are like, when the bubble goes up, this is all we're going to do. It's a war. It's a battle, because the ball can't go through the net. Players don't like the bubble. They don't like the bubble. And I'm not talking about the NCAA tournament bubble. I'm talking about the bubble that's the rebounding drill. That's the biggest key for BYU. Can they rebound the basketball? Can they keep Big Cliff, Grant Nelson off the offensive glass? Because they're not a great rebounding team. Can they neutralize those two guys and keep them off the offensive glass? And then can Alabama guard the 3-point line? Like, those are the two stats to pay attention to in this matchup. Rebounding and 3-point shooting.
I don't think there's any question, Latulip. And Alabama has certainly done a nice job this year of scoring in bunches and rebounding the basketball, second chance opportunities. What do you think about what McCall said? He said the key for BYU is, can they rebound? Well, can they? Do you think they have a chance to be successful tomorrow on the boards against Alabama?
Well, McCall used the word war, and it's funny because the drill we used to do at Illinois when we put that bubble on the rim was called war rebounding.
Everybody has it, and nobody likes it.
Everybody has it.
And it's not ideal to do it. It's getting ready for a Sweet 16, but you had to do it this week.
Yeah. Pursuit is going to be key for BYU. When you look at rebounding, it's not just about, hey, do we have the size? It's do you have the speed and the pursuit to be able to track the ball down? And they're going to have to, because Alabama in the first two games of this NCAA tournament, they've played to their strengths and they had advantages in the paint. And I still think they have a little bit of that against BYU, but certainly not as much as they did against St. Mary's and Robert Morris. So I think they took 21 and they took 17 threes in their two NCAA tournament games. It may eclipse 30 tomorrow night and get back to kind of their old ways early in the season. And McCall, when those threes go up and they go up at a high rate, long rebounds, you're going to have to track them down and pursue if you're BYU. So that's certainly key. But flip to the other side. I mean, we know this is going to be a track meet, but to go off of what McCall said with the way you have to defend BYU and what makes BYU such a good offense, it's not just, hey, we fly up and down the court and we're shooting threes. I mean, I think that's kind of almost like a misnomer with BYU. They play with pace, but it's their pace in the half court. The way they set up the cuts, the way they come off-ball screens and off-ball actions, and like the way you have to chase, and your job is never done. And so I look at Richie Saunders and I say, who gets that assignment? Because I heard LeBaron Philon in the locker room saying, I'll be on whoever the best player is. So now you got a freshman, you got a 19-year-old chasing around Richie Saunders all game. How does that? LeBaron Philon is the key for me in this game. because, I mean, he hasn't scored at a high level in this tournament, only I think 7 points total, but he's 13 assists, 1 turnover. He's had great floor games in both games, and then he may be tasked with the toughest assignment tomorrow night defensively. So that's a big challenge for a young guy like that. And I'm really curious to see how he rises to the occasion, if he rises to the occasion. And again, we could get 65 plus threes taken in this game tomorrow night. I don't think Alabama is going to be shy to shoot him, and we've seen with the 3-point variance, if they can make them, they may be the first to 90 in this game.
Bombs away. It's going to be bombs away. It's going to be
bombs
fun.
away.
I mean, it's going to be one of those games that's back and forth, up and down, shoot. And if you're making it, then you're probably going to have a nice night. So we'll see what happens between Alabama and BYU come tomorrow night. Alabama's confidence. I mean, this is a team that kind of had a little bit of a roller coaster of a year. You know, they started off good, you know, kind of had some moments. They had some issues there against some quality teams in the SEC that they kind of measured themselves after. But this is a team that went to the Final Four last year. They've got the banner hanging in their gym. Mark Sears and company know how to advance. Do you think when it gets to the second weekend, and Matt, you've been in this position as a coach, you were there at Florida, how much does knowing how to get past a weekend and win 2 games, how much does that factor into this?
I mean, I think it factors in a ton. You know, I mean, this team has confidence now. And everyone was saying when they were in a dogfight against Bobby Morris, like they were in a dogfight in the first round, everyone's like, oh, here we go.
Bobby
like,
Mo.
what's wrong? Here we go. Like, what's wrong? What's wrong with this team? And now all of a sudden they're in the Sweet 16. Like, you need to go through some stuff. And this team has gone through some stuff. And people probably get annoyed with my analogies about my time at Florida, but like the 2006 national championship team, we were 10-6 in the SEC, 10-6. So we went through some stuff, and then going through that adversity catapults you to the Final Four. The following year in 2007, we lost 3 out of 4 games coming down the stretch of the season. Like, that happened. It wasn't going well. So you had to go through some of that adversity to catapult you to a Final Four and eventually to a national championship. You know, what Nate Oates did this offseason was, hey, we're going to go get Big Cliff from Rutgers. This is what we need to try to anchor our defense. And when they got him, the expectations went completely through the roof because you return Mark Sears, you return Grant Nelson, you got all these guys. And then, by the way, we've been bad on defense last year, so we're going to bring in Cliff to help anchor our defense. Oh, this is a lock. This is a lock Final Four team. This is a lock team to compete for a national championship. And then they go through some stuff. And everyone's kind of down and out on them. And now all of a sudden they're sitting here in the Sweet 16. So that adversity has only helped this team. Benching Mark Sears against LSU has only helped this team. And they're sitting here with an opportunity, you know, in the Sweet 16 to advance and ultimately get to a Final Four. So this one's going to be fun. It's going to be a up and down game. I mean, I'm leaning towards Alabama in this one just because of that experience that you brought up, Chris. I mean, they've been here before. And when the game gets close and it gets tight down the stretch of this game, Nate Oates in that timeout, he can point to that guys, we've been here before. This is our region. Let's get to a Final Four.